Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of our online seller education program, Getting Ready for Tax Season with Square. My name is Andres Barraza, coming to you from Square's headquarters in San Francisco, representing the customer success team. In this webcast, we'll focus on everyone's favorite topic, taxes. We're going to go over common questions our team hears from our sellers around this time of year. As a reminder, we're not able to offer any tax advice. If you have any questions about filing your taxes, you'll need to reach out to an accountant or tax professional. We'll only be going over your tax resources with Square, reporting, and official forms offered by Square for qualifying accounts. So a quick preview of our agenda. First, we're going to give a brief overview of the 1099K form and how to qualify for one. Then, we'll talk about how to update your taxpayer information and correct a 1099K. After that, we'll talk about what it means if you've received a B notice and what to do to correct it. And finally, we'll show you how to view last year's sales and fees. With that, let's jump right in. When you use a payment settlement entity like Square to process credit card transactions, that entity is required by the IRS to report payment processing if your account passes a certain threshold. We'll cover these thresholds in a second, but first let's go over how they're calculated. 1099Ks are calculated on the gross total of credit and debit card payments accepted in the calendar year. So if you processed a card payment but later issued a refund, we're still required by the IRS to report the original payment amount. Also, gross amounts include Square's fees. So for example, let's say you swipe a customer's card for $100. Square's fee for card present transactions is 2.75%. So we'll deduct the $2.75 and deposit $97.25 to your bank account. We're required to report the full $100 payment you processed. As a result, the net totals deposited to you won't match the amounts on the 1099K form. We're also required to aggregate and report for all Square accounts associated with the same tax identification number, including any Cash App for business transactions or Caviar delivery transactions. Now, a bit about the qualifications required for a 1099K. Generally, accounts meeting both of the following criteria qualify for a 1099K and must be reported to the IRS by Square. If you processed more than $20,000 in gross credit or debit card sales from goods or services and more than 200 transactions in the calendar year, Square is required to report that information to the IRS. Let's say you have two accounts with Square, and both accounts processed $10,000 in credit card payments and 100 transactions in 2018. The total for both accounts will exceed $20,000 and 200 transactions, which means you'll receive a 1099K for both accounts. However, last year there was a change in legislation and two states updated their requirements. If your tax information is associated with Massachusetts or Vermont, Square is required to issue a Form 1099K and report to your state when you process $600 or more in credit or debit card payments. Again, keep in mind, these reporting thresholds are based on the total gross sales volume processed under the same TIN. If you have multiple Square accounts with the same TIN, each account will count towards the gross credit card threshold. If you qualify for a 1099K, you can view and download your form right from your online Square dashboard. To get started, log into squareup.com/dashboard, then head over to Account and Settings from your navigation menu. Under the Business tab, click Tax Forms. If you qualified for a 1099K in 2018, you'll find it here no later than January 31st, 2019. If you have 1099Ks from previous years, they'll always be available for you to view or download from your online Square dashboard's Tax Forms section. Alright, so let's go over some steps on updating your taxpayer information for 2018. If you need to update your taxpayer information and 1099K information, not because of an issue with the IRS, but maybe you entered your personal social security number instead of your business's EIN when you activated your account, this is an issue we see pretty often. The good news is, once we issue a 1099K form to your account for 2018, you'll have a small window of time where updating your taxpayer information from your dashboard will also update your 1099K automatically. If your new taxpayer information is accepted, but your 1099K doesn't update, you'll need to contact us so we can update the form for you, and we'll cover what information we'll need to do so in the next section. To update your taxpayer information, log into your online Square dashboard, then head over to Account and Settings. Under the Business tab, select Tax Forms, and from here you'll see your taxpayer information. To update it, just click on the location name and enter your updated information. As long as the details you enter match what the IRS has on file, you'll be able to save your new taxpayer information. Keep in mind though, Square checks with the IRS in real time. If the name or TIN number you entered isn't accepted, you'll need to double check your records. You can check your EIN verification letter, a previous tax return, or contact the IRS directly to get your EIN information. It's also important to note that Square won't provide a split 1099-K or issue one with a $0 amount reflected on it. You'll need to contact a tax professional if you need help amending your tax documents. Alright, so let's say you missed the window to auto-update your 1099-K, or you need to update your 1099-K for a previous year. In order to update your 1099-Ks for previous years, you'll need to contact us directly. However, I'll go over all the documents we'll need before updating your 1099-Ks to help expedite the process as much as possible. The first step is to update your taxpayer information from your online Square dashboard. So again, select Account and Settings. Under the Business tab, select Tax Forms and update that information. Next, we'll need you to email Square a copy of an official bank statement on your bank's letterhead, which shows deposits from Square to your business. The statement can show any month from the year you're requesting an updated 1099-K for, and should also include your full bank statement, not just a single page. If you are requesting to update multiple 1099-Ks, make sure you include a bank statement for each correlating year. Also keep in mind, if you used multiple bank accounts in the year that needs correction, we'll need a statement for each bank account that received deposits from Square. The bank statements that you're sending us should clearly show the following. Your statements should clearly show official bank letterhead with your bank's logo, the bank holder's name and address. Also, the bank account holder's name and address need to match the name and information in your Square dashboard under the taxpayer information section. The bank account number or the last 3 digits of the account if you're using a credit union, and it'll also need to display deposits from Square in the same year as your requested 1099-K correction. So on to the next section. What is a B notice? When your taxpayer information, either the TIN or the name, doesn't match the IRS records, Square is required to issue a B notice to your account. You'll receive a notification letter and an email from our tax team with the required due date to update your information. If you do not submit the required documentation by the due date, your Square account will be deactivated. Again, this will only happen if your taxpayer information isn't correct, so it's important you update it as soon as you can. For more information on this, visit squareup.com/help and search 1099-K. Finally, if for whichever reason you don't qualify for a 1099-K, you can still take a look at your yearly sales summary. Your online Square dashboard hosts a suite of reporting tools to help you drill down on sales. A lot of sellers ask us where they can view the fees they paid to Square for a given year, so let's walk through where you can find that information right now. To view your fees, visit the Sales tab of your online Square dashboard. Then, use the Date Selector tool to view a full calendar view and select a time frame. At this point, your transactions and a full summary of fees will populate for the date range selected. And if you'd like, click Export to download a CSV file to a spreadsheet. You can also pass the exported sales report to a tax professional or keep a copy for your records. Okay, you now know all about the tools, reports, and forms offered by Square to help you prepare for tax season. You've learned about 1099-Ks, what they are, what they include, and how they're calculated, but you also learned about adding or updating your taxpayer information, B notices, and what to do if you did not receive a 1099-K this year. If you still have additional questions after we're done here today, we can answer them at sellercommunity.com and at squareup.com/help and search for 1099-K. And on behalf of Square's customer success team, have a great day.